And then what happens is there usually in every church, there are people that God brings in every congregation and the devil brings that are holy sandpaper. They're just wheat among the tares among the wheat. I don't know. They're just folks that are there for whatever reason to keep the pastor humble. And they were in my church too. They would say, Pastor, you did 10 things great, but let me tell you about that one thing that really irritates me, Never mentioning the 10 that we did great. Anyway, so I was under the pressure of life and in my church, and I was like walking through my neighborhood and prayer walking. This is how I did it. And we lived in Florida, and there was a hurricane, I think, coming up the coast, but it wasn't going to come inland, so we were getting maybe 25 mile an hour winds, which is a normal winter day for, Oregon. But in Florida, it's a big deal, And so it's windy, and I'm looking up, and God says to me in my spirit, look up. So I look up, and there's big birds. In Florida, we got a lot of big birds. I mean, not just blackbirds, but there's pelicans. There's all kinds of birds that are huge. And so I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, they're just gliding. But the wind was like hard to walk against. And then I heard the Spirit of God say to me, Brett, you feel like all this weight is against you. But when the wind is against you, let it lift you. And I thought, okay, wait a minute. And I was thinking aerodynamics, right? Like when a duck takes off against the wind, it's because the principles of aerodynamics is the more wind you have against you, lift goes over the wings and it creates flight. Same with your airplanes. When the wind is against you, let it lift you, Brett. God spoke through creation to me that day. And so I went around the neighborhood with my hands up in the air. And people didn't know because in Florida, people don't play outside when it's 95 degrees and the wind's out. They're just in air conditioning. And but I would have looked weird to most of my neighbors, but I didn't care because I was saying, all right, I praise you, God. You know the weight I'm under.